Hi everyone, I'm Lisa DiFrancesco and this is Whitney Water Center in the field. One of the best things about spring is maple sugaring season. Today, we're going to heat things up so we can boil down the facts on maple sugaring.
Trees are like the Swiss Army knife of the forest. They give us oxygen, shade, wood, paper, fruit, nuts, and best of all, maple syrup. Connecticut is 10th in the U.S. in maple syrup production. In 2018, Connecticut produced 18,000 gallons of maple syrup. To get 1 gallon of syrup, about 40 gallons of sap needs to be collected. That means 720,000 gallons of sap was collected. That's a lot of buckets. Maple sugaring season in Connecticut starts in early February and runs through mid-March, when the nights are below freezing and the daytime temperatures are warm. During the warm days, the trees take the stored starch and start moving it around the tree. When it gets cold at night, the sap travels back down the tree. Sugar maples have rough gray bark. The leaves have 5 lobes with a smooth curved edge, and the buds are triangular and pointed. Sugar maples are one of the few trees that produce a sap that can be processed into something tasty. Black birch sap was the original flavor source for birch beer soda, and butternut tree sap can also be used for syrup, but isn't common.
You only need a few trees to collect sap, but they need to be at least 8 inches in diameter. This giant behind me certainly fits the bill. But the more trees there are in an area, the more efficient the sap collection process is. An area where there's a lot of sugar maples, that's called a sugar bush. No, not the ski area. Let's head to Brooksvale Park in Hamden and take a closer look at the maple sugaring process.
Taps, or spiles, are drilled into the trees so the sap can drain into a container. The traditional container is a metal bucket, but plastic ones are widely available. The bucket can hang directly on the tap, or tubing can be used to direct the sap into the bucket or other collection container on the ground. Warm days will cause the sap to drip quickly from the tree. If it gets too warm, the sap will get cloudy and cannot be used. If it's too cold, the sap will freeze and nothing happens until it thaws. It doesn't matter what type of collection container is used, but it needs to have a cover. The cover keeps out the dirt and debris, as well as insects that pop up on warm, late winter days. It also keeps the rainwater out. Rain doesn't ruin the sap, but the extra water makes the boiling process even longer. Here's where the magic happens. Very slow magic. If you taste the sap right out of the tree, it has a light sweet taste. It's only 2 to 4% sugar. Remember, it takes 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. It needs to be boiled down to concentrate the flavor. Traditionally, a sugar bush would also have a sugar shack, or outside fire pits for boiling the sap. There are also commercial evaporators available for the larger producers. Boiling is a long, steamy process. Unless you are boiling a very small amount of sap, you do not want to do this inside. It can seriously damage your house. As the sap bubbles and boils, the water evaporates, leaving a flavorful liquid behind. The longer it boils, the thicker and darker the syrup gets. This is how maple syrup is graded. Syrup is identified by its color and taste. The universal question is always pancakes or waffles, but it should be, what do you put on them?
A lot of time and effort goes into making maple syrup. That's why it's so expensive. But if you've ever tasted it, you certainly know it's worth it. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lisa DiFrancesco, and we'll see you next time.